grumpy when I walked in. Are we on?
Oh. We're on YouTube and dropping things all over the place.
You gotta unzip it, though.
Which means we have makeup. Woo! Oh. Man, this is going to be an interesting makeup with Stephanie.
Don't make it a thing. I didn't pull what? Oh, okay. I hate this one. I mean, it's great. So this one is that candy stick by NYX. Glowy lip color that's really salty when you lick it. But I kind of teased or talked about on Wednesday, I didn't have enough time to pull it up and put it up on our YouTube Makeup with Stephanie, about this really hot makeup trend that's going on lately. My co-host kind of got a little sneak peek on it. So, if you want smoother skin, less wrinkles, better pigment, help with acne. Now people are putting snails on their face.
Snails on your face. Oh,
Snails on your face.
I'm gonna run right up. Why don't they do leeches?
But no. Then they also have a cream. Do you have the other photo? A cream you can buy at like Ulta or online that is snail crap. It has snail slime in it. That is so gross. Who would have thought? Would you
I told you
can go into your garden and put.
You would be
surprised.
On your face. You would be surprised at what those makeup sticks. What you were putting on your lips each and every time.
People are buying this.
Yes.
Purchasing it. That's insane.
Doing this when you're going to start up a radio show on that. When you're doing this, and I couldn't even hear what's going on the stuff while everything's falling apart and crashing and doing all sorts of things.
Nothing was falling apart.
Of that, no, it just started off on the thing you hear, big crash, boom.
No one heard that.
Yeah, go to YouTube and you want to see.
And find out the latest, hottest trend that even you can do at home during this quarantine. You just got to go in your garden.
Of that, we're on IE Newswire.
So
yes, we're now live on IE Newswire. We've been on Facebook. I'd say the most entertaining segments are those first 2 or 3 minutes we're doing on YouTube that isn't exclusive on that. So that's an incentive. Go to IE Newswire. And you'll see our bright, shiny faces
Make sure
across
you hit
there.
that like and subscribe button. So
You got it.
You get prompted every time we go live.
And there you go. And
don't miss a moment.
It's not like there was nothing going on. We talked about it the other day. Yesterday was the opening of Major League Baseball coming on, and there could not be any. We've talked about the whole Black Lives Matter and the kneeling. I guess it started, 3 or 4 years ago with Kaepernick and the kneeling and all that. And then that whole thing kind of subsided. We got back to the way it was before, everybody standing at the national anthem. We do that. Then we go about our business of doing whatever sporting event or whatever we're having. So then comes coronavirus and the riots and the Black Lives Matter and the systemic racism whole mantra comes back on the scene on that. So this is the Yankees-Nationals game at going on that. And here's the whole enchilada of going, the whole team is rolling across the board and kneeling as you're getting a deal. The whole team is kneeling before the game. Up and down, you see one side, there's the Yankees, and there's the Nationals of going up. You're seeing the whole rewind of it. There you go up the other side. Whole teams on both sides are kneeling during
now,
the
why
national
are they holding,
anthem.
I mean, kind of a squirrely question, but why are they all holding the black ribbon?
That I don't know and really don't care. Probably, what's a black ribbon usually assigned to solidarity or solace or, somebody died. Yeah, somebody died. Maybe that's what they're doing, the death of who knows what. And it really doesn't
during all this, they forgot the whole reason and the death that was behind it. Nobody seems to remember about George.
Yeah, how quickly we forgot about George Floyd is.
But the whole thing started because someone died. So it still doesn't make any sense. And I'm really disappointed in them for doing that, because to me it's like they're keeping it going.
Yes.
They're saying there's no end.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have this 24/7, 365 on the whole thing.
Because how many people might have started like kind of getting over it in a way, not like over it, but like moving on, moving past it. We're seeing brighter days, and then that is gonna like reset it all back over again.
So are we gonna allow any political statement at the national anthem of that? What if somebody wants to fly the Confederate flag at the national anthem? Is that game on? Is this where we're going with all this stuff? Because if one person can make a political statement, then everybody should be allowed to do it.
Right.
If that's where we want to go, if we don't want to stand and respectfully hear the national anthem like we've done for 200 plus years, and we're going to turn this into a circus sideshow, then let's turn it into a good one. And let's not say just because or whatever, and I don't care if you want to make a political statement of this. At any Major League Baseball game, you should be allowed to do it if that's what we're going to do. Now, if you want that kind of chaos, then don't gripe about what happens. The fights are going to break out. People are going to get, somebody's going to get mad. Somebody's going to poke somebody in the nose. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have pissed off people by doing this. If that's what you're trying to accomplish, then you're going about it the right way, because that's where this is going.
I agree.
You think?
A little bit.
That's
why
why
on the mound, how they had it spray painted on there too.
Yes. If we're going to sanction that, like NFL or NBA's talking about the same thing and having Black Lives Matter on the court or whatever the heck is going on there, then everybody's political statement should be on the NBA court. If I want to say Trump 2020 and I'm on the team, I should be able to have that. Are you going to put that on the floor? Are we going to go down that road?
And my thing too is you're going to promote that at a game, which families and everybody are watching, which, hey, that's cool. But children at school were having a hard time just saying Pledge of Allegiance. And they had to leave praying and all that stuff out of school. You can't say Merry Christmas.
There you go. Yeah, remember they shamed Santa Claus and Merry Christmas. And you can't. Now what do you got to say? Happy Holidays.
Or
whatever.
Which, I mean, hey, that's cool.
And that's fine.
We cater to everybody's, beliefs and all that. As long as if I say Merry Christmas, nobody gets offended.
Exactly.
Or if I say anything else, nobody gets offended. But they shouldn't be promoting that. And then my kids are going to wonder, well, what does that mean? How am I going to explain that?
Exactly. I have the same thing.
I can't.
If you want to say,
I can't explain it properly to my children.
If you want to say Happy Holidays or Kwanzaa or whatever, fine. If you want to say Merry Christmas, fine. That's I'm not offended by any of it. It's whatever you believe or whatever that is perfectly fine with me. But if we're going to eliminate one, then we're going to eliminate them all. Right. We're going to include them all, or you're going to say them. I have that about the whole word thing. The N word, the S word, or whatever. If one person's...
I know. The other day I had my Pandora playing, and the N word dropped, and my 4-year-old heard it. So I'm like, if he goes out in public and he says that, it's my butt.
Exactly. And
then what's going to happen to my 4-year-old?
That's what I have said. Why are all the entertainers in movies and songs that have made countless billions of dollars off of the N-word, why aren't they paying reparations back or apologizing for it? When that day happens, then you might have a case. But they're not giving 1 cent. They said, you should take it from Evil Roy because he's a straight white male. Go after him. That's exactly what they're saying. And let's stock off the stuff. If one person's allowed to use a word, then everybody is. If it's off the table, it's off the table everywhere.
Right.
You should be shaming everybody that does not do it or uses it or any other thing just for the example you made. I mean, I don't know how many countless times you've probably been in it too. You've been sitting at the stoplight and you're boomity, boomity, boom, 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 and N-word this and F-word that and yada. I mean, you can hear it. They got speakers.
You know what's the best part is when that's going on and then you have your kids in the car, but they're smoking a joint, they're drinking a tall can. It's like, all right, look that way, kids.
Yes. I mean, okay. if it's off the table, then why are you listening to it? And everybody's profiting, enjoying it, but then
But
if
I think
you
though,
say
but
it,
in their defense, the people that sing it, I don't think would be so offended if anybody used it. It's everybody else that listens to it that's like, I can say it, but you can't.
well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, but I mean, if it can be used in the entertainment venue, then it's Katie bar the door in my book. Then why is it offensive if somebody else uses it? I don't care what the word is. The Redskins or whatever, this whole thing where we got the Redskins name off the football team and all this other stuff, and they're talking about whatever the ones were, the high school football team that was, I can't remember what it was on the deal. And they were saying, they're talking about it. We're going through all this. We're making you know what we're doing? We're driving ourselves freaking crazy.
We are. We're making everybody. We're catering to everyone's little sadness. Which and I don't think anyone is really that offended by any of it. I think they just have so much anger that they want to complain about everything. Well, because why is this just now getting brought up? I mean, this has been forever going. Why now are we like, let's change this, let's change that, let's change this, I don't know.
It is, and you run the.
It's too much. Just leave it as it is. Get the hell over it, and let's freaking move on. Whoops.
Good thing we are on. See, you're using the word. Good thing we're on the
my
net.
producer is supposed to be beeping me out. He's sitting over there.
Well, example of using the word. And
my bad. I'm sorry. Any little children that are listening.
And when you go through this, but the words have become such a common lexicon.
They are.
In our society when those words were not used to that. And then all of a sudden, a lot, you take anybody under the age of probably 45, 50, and they use the words just like you are, like in their everyday conversation.
Right.
20, 30 years ago, that would have been like taboo. You wouldn't have used that in any kind of mixed company or anything else on this stuff. So this is what I'm saying is this is what our society has come to. And we're driving ourselves crazy by doing this stuff. And then you don't know when or what or how. I'm saying this, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Somebody somewhere is going to be offended by they're going to be offended by the color red that's sitting behind us. They're going to be lime green straws. I'm offended by those where, plastic straws, it's going to kill the whales and all this other nonsense.
Oh, you got to throw out there the make straws. Come on.
And plastic bags and all that other shit. What's what I'm saying? We're driving each other crazy. We're not driving. We're allowing them to drive us crazy. We're allowing the establishment to make us completely nuts on this stuff. And far too many of us, and the majority seem to be conforming to this. We're buying the BS on the masks and the language, and you're hating, and this, and reparations, and systemic racism, and all this other BS that's going on. It's about time that we, and I've said this, in a roundabout way, I've said, be careful what you wish for. You're trying to make women out of men. But the bottom line is, too many men are not standing up and acting like men anymore. They're succumbing to the pressure. Well, we don't want to deal with it, so they won't stand up. They won't do what's right. They will start conforming to this stuff and allowing it to happen. And this is what you're going to wind up with the society if you did it. You're going to drive everybody freaking nuts.
I agree with you. I want to read this comment that came in. Tamara writes in, and it's a little lengthy. Okay, comment. I'm a mom of 7 daughters. God bless you. I'm a mom of 4 boys. Ooh, let's do a kid trade. For the day. I have seen a grip of lies and mistruths. The other day, Pelosi said, this is Trump virus. I watched it again and again. She was being way honest. She never ever stuttered. It was crystal clear. Why? I think it's because what she has said is the truth. She said under her breath, nothing is going on here, but this is dumb. Let him look for a fool for listening to us. He deserves it. And I said, oh my God, this girl is in so much trouble with me. An American mom.
Look at Nancy.
A little confused on her comment.
Well, let's just take the Trump virus deal. look at how.
But why would anyone blame this virus on Trump?
Exactly. Trump is, and well, look at Nancy Pelosi on down have went apoplectic when Trump called it China virus, which is what it is. It's where it started. And they could have done, or at least said, hey, we screwed this up. It's out. What's going on? Not hiding it, whatever. Everybody's running around. What the heck's going on? We don't know what's going on. Yada, yada, yada. That is what the whole problem is. We are allowing the Nancy Pelosi's, the Gavin Newsoms, the Andrew Cuomo's, and Joe Biden's to shape the rhetoric, and the entertainers and the baseball players and all this to shape the rhetoric and call us all evil. And that's what it is. That's what I go back to. Men are not standing up and being men about this stuff. They're all hiding in the corner. They won't say anything, and this is what you're going to get. I told you all, you're going to rue the day you're turning men into women. There's a reason why Mother Nature made us like we are. Yeah, we're retarded. Yeah, we do stupid things. But that makes the world go around. You cannot run a society on 100% emotion.
Right.
You've got to have that reality base or say, this is the way things are. And, sometimes we just got to do stuff so we can survive or have a better life. And, sometimes it is not saying everything is pretty please or sugar on top or glowing.
No, you should still say please. You should still speak with respect, which I don't think anybody is speaking with respect anymore. I think people just say things as they want and don't think of how it's going to affect others.
But, yeah, you can't.
A little bit. I mean, you can't cater to everybody's little needs and what's going to offend them, but you can still, there's a difference. You can still speak with respect.
Yeah, but exactly. But I mean, when you point out the reality of the situation like this, of hey,
but people don't want to be wrong. People don't want to hear where something isn't right. People get mad by that. If I say your shirt's ugly, some people get offended by that because they don't want to feel embarrassed that their shirt's ugly. Nice shirt though, by the way. Think about it.
I know. That's why you're saying that. You called your own shirt ugly.
I was using it as an example.
I know that. Here we go. And here's more about the hypocrisy of you got roll up number 4. This is on IE Newswire. No mouse Fauci. At the aforementioned Yankees-Nationals game, Fauci threw out the first pitch. There he is in the stands with his wife and his best friend of that with no mask on. And no anybody else there. They're enjoying the game. They don't have to fight the crowds. They know nothing. Only people in the stands. You don't get to go to the baseball game. But Fauci, his wife, and his friend get to go to the baseball game. And if you think that's just a one part, or that's the only time this has happened, there's been multiple examples of what, why, and how this has worked. And we put them on there as we roll them up on there. But
regardless, for a man that's saying social distance 6 feet apart,
exactly.
They should be sitting at least seats apart.
Yeah.
You're a leader. You're making
there you
people
go.
Follow your own rules. Like, he should have at least spaced out. Take down the mask because you're drinking your water, eating whatever. You want to take a little selfie, look all cute. That's great. But spread out. Or go home and watch it on TV like everybody else had to.
Yeah. How about experiencing life as everybody else did?
As you're making us live it.
Yes, as you're doing it, of that, instead of running the privileges and of what on everything else that's going on. So here we go. Here is Fauci at the Senate, or at one of the Congress hearings on that. Pull up number 4 of that. There he is afterwards. He's taking off his mask at the hearings. Watch this one as it comes up on the deal. Here's another lady that's going to come up on that as he pulls up his pants. And look at that smug look he's got. I mean, is that frickin' classic of that? There's your Dr. Anthony Fauci of...
Maybe he's just tired.
There you go. Look at that. Of that. Let me try... We'll run it back again. See if we can stop it right when she comes in of that. But yeah, look at that classic look of... There you go. Look at the lady, the staffer or whatever's coming in. The mask is off. Hanging by there. As soon as the cameras are off and there's no show, what do? When they think nobody is watching or that... This is how they live their life. So people were saying, "Oh, he was just at the game. He was drinking water. That was his. I was just drinking water. Yada yada yada." Then there's multiple examples of this going all across the web. So it's not fake news. This is what they do.
Right.
This is how they make the rules for you, but they don't. It's okay if I do them. Do as I say, not as I do. That's their whole premise. That's what we call them, the establishment, the elite, whatever on this thing, because that's, we can go on and on and on with examples of this, but this is what they're doing to you. This is what they think of you. They are laughing at you up and down the line, especially those of you that are buying into all the coronavirus BS, the hospitalizations, we're all going to die, yada, yada, yada. It's outbreaking again. We're all that. As Trump put up the chart yesterday, there's a few hot spots across the deal, plus deaths are way down. As the positivity rate goes on across the board, there is no.
That's where I'm getting frustrated, because they're posting and they're commenting and they're telling you about the numbers that we have today. But they're not telling you the deaths, and they're recounting people for every positive. So Timmy's positive 5 times. That's 5 numbers. It's not 1, it's 5.
Pull up the chart.
Ridiculous.
Going back, this is the testing positivity rate since coronavirus began. You can see over to the left, when we first started, 40% positivity rate, because they were only testing people with symptoms and very few tests. 5,000 a day or something. So let's get starting over there in about, in late March, early April. You can see that the positivity rate has stayed between 5 and 8% for over 4 months now, while tests have went from 40,000 to 140,000 a day. Steadily up on the deal, the positivity rate in California has stayed the same. It's flat. We have went through the first shutdown, lockdown, stay-at-home orders, loosening up, riots, people's at the beach, all this stuff, to being locked down back again, all the way, and the positivity rate has stayed the same. This is what you call real-world evidence. So answer me this question, Gavin Newsom. We have been through opening up, we've been through lockdown, opening up, lockdown, mask, social distancing, not doing it, and the positivity rate hasn't changed the same. So where's the effectiveness of mask, social distancing, or anything else you've had in this equation? Because we've done it every which way, and the positivity rate stays the same.
But then there was that protest the other day in downtown LA. So all the numbers they're going to say are going to go back up because everybody was. But why wasn't he shutting that down? Why is that? Oh, go ahead and protest. You're upset. That's fine. Why?
It has been more than 2 weeks since we've had any protests.
No, there was one the other day.
Small
one.
The small one. The big
regardless.
protest. The big protest. Or people on the beach where they were all on. More than 2 weeks. We've been a month. It's been a month of that. The incubation period at the outside maximum is 2 weeks on coronavirus. So we've been way past that.
He just closed the parking.
We were, but they're not the big crowds or nothing, And then we've had the social distancing, mask mandates, and all the other crap. Look at the positivity rate. It's still staying in that same range that it always has, because you have to listen carefully to what they say. They say we are going to slow the spread. They never. Very rare, a couple of times, unless they slip up, they'll say stop the spread. They can't stop the spread. They've always said the amount of coronavirus cases were always going to be the same amount.
Right.
It was just, we have to slow this.
It's impossible because there's no way
Yes.
you're not going to go to the store. There's no way you're not going to go to the bank. There's no way you're not going to go get gas. There's just no. You're going to eventually, at some point, come to someone in contact with it.
It's going to go around. It's going to come back. If you wear a mask or it doesn't spread through like it's going to in its normal course, you're either going to get it in a condensed period or you're going to spread it out. But ultimately, the amount of cases, and I have yet to hear the expert that said, living to its own device, other than developing herd immunity vaccine, which they have never had a coronavirus vaccine ever that's been effective or worked,
Yeah.
So until it develops herd immunity or you get rid of it, it's going to affect, as the evidence shows, where you're going. Now, we know if you're in a closed, dense, air conditioning controlled environment, the thing spreads. You're going to have a lot more cases than if you're outdoors. Same thing. Why is it okay to get your hair cut outdoors, but you can't have it done indoors?
Because what if your barber still has it? Then she's breathing on you.
Yes,
Whichever.
it's same thing. If
Still gonna
the
get it.
infection transmission
You're
is
gonna
there,
at some point touch something similar and the same.
yes, and in fact, the sanitation is going to be potentially worse outside than inside.
Right.
Because everything can be blowing around.
and
There
air
you go.
particles.
So there is no
Plus, they
reason.
said that the sun killed it, but then they went try to go back and say the sun doesn't kill it like they thought it did, even though it does, right?
Well,
So
yeah.
then, if you're outside, then is the sun killing it or not killing it? Do we know now?
And that's what I put the hypothesis out there on this stuff is that was what I was afraid of, but them trying to delay or putting the masks and all that stuff.
Right.
Okay, the virus lays around. Virus has only one. They only have one mission in life, and that's to survive. They don't build houses. They don't build cars.
They don't?
Go to the river.
Imagine that.
They just look for something. They look for you or a living thing they can survive in. Human, pig, whatever. That's all they do. And they do everything. That's all their whole existence. They figure out how to survive. It's a race to see if they can survive or when it will get killed off.
Right.
On that particular strain, COVID-19. COVID-19. Is the Spanish flu still around? Some viruses lay for a long time. I mean, there still are cases of chickenpox, even though we mainly reduced it out of here. There's still the HIV virus. They haven't got a vaccine in. They can treat it with cocktails of drugs and make you live a basically normal life, but there's still an HIV virus around. Some of them survive, some of them don't. Viruses are tricky. Coronaviruses are very tricky as far as surviving. So now that we've allowed it to survive in the heat, now maybe the stupid thing is figured out how, when in a normal period, if it would have ran its course, when the hot weather come off, it would have died off its natural course. Now it's figured out how to survive in that. As I've said, are we into now a 24/7, 365 flu virus cycle because what we done? I think the evidence is showing that just by this, the positivity rate is staying the same no matter what they're doing. Of that. Now, it's climbed a little bit in Florida in some spots and that, but in the most part in California, why is it staying the same? It probably has to do with the environments and all the stuff. Why did it go through New York? Why is it not almost no effect on kids? Versus elderly, it's like if you're elderly with comorbidities, it's pretty deadly. Comparatively.
But are they still going back and retesting somebody that already had it? I mean, are they keeping these numbers going?
Oh,
by
yes.
constantly
Yes.
testing the same people. Not to mention someone that might have a cold, they make them go to the hospital to test. Then now you're infected because COVID's probably everywhere in that damn hospital that you're at.
Yeah, that was what Hairgel said today. This is my next point of that. Oh, healthcare workers are now the ones in California that are getting it the most.
Out of nowhere? Now?
Yes. And who?
Not back in January or December.
Who wears masks religiously when they're, and especially since
And
this stuff?
sanitize.
Yes, and doing all the and trained to wear them. Have all of the stuff of that. Who? Healthcare workers. They are now the biggest ones in California getting this disease. So if masks work. If masks work from you spreading the disease, and now they're saying masks work for you even getting it when they first said both. First, they backtracked on everything they said. Oh, well, masks are not effective. Don't wear the mask. Well, America, because you might kill somebody else, but it won't protect you. Then it would protect you. Then why are the healthcare workers coming down with this stuff?
Right.
Because they have been, if anybody follows the protocol to 100% or as close as you're ever going to get to it, it's going to be our healthcare workers because that's their job. They will get fired if they don't follow the rules. It's not like you go into the store and you don't have your mask on, or it falls off, or you don't wear it properly, or you touch it, or you don't dispose of it properly, or you reuse it 27 times. And as we put out on Wednesday's gruesome press conference, the healthcare workers are only getting 2 to 3 masks a week, and they were not getting some in some areas while he's sitting on $1 billion worth of masks stacked in warehouses. Tell me what's wrong with this picture.
Everything.
If you're buying the crapola they're putting into you, and they're trying to fill your heads, and they're trying to scare you to death with this stuff, you're going to deserve what you get. I don't know how else to say it. I was optimistic a month and a half ago, 6 weeks. We were starting to open things
I
up.
was getting excited.
Yes, we were looking, okay, it wasn't as fast as Roy would have wanted it. But, we're moving in the right direction. Okay, take what you can get. Let's build on that. We've not only reversed course, we're going downhill worse than we were before with all this stuff. Businesses, employers, employees cannot take these yo-yo cycles, open, close, open, yada, yada, yada. On top of that, many people can't even get the unemployment benefits that they've had. They've been out of work for 3 months, and they still are not. They're in this limbo. If they don't deny you, if they deny you, you can at least appeal it. If they, either they give you the benefits, fine and dandy. They deny you, you can appeal it. But there's a whole group of people out there that they're doing neither. They're not even telling anything. They can't even deny, they can't even appeal it because their case is just sitting there in limbo. And people are starving to death, can't pay the rent, can't buy groceries or anything else. This is happening in the state of California with all they used to say, oh, Gavin Newsom, isn't he so cute? Shouldn't he run for president? Oh, my God. Are you really? I don't know. I can't even wrap my head around that kind of stupid.
Really?
Yes. Explain to me how that stupid happens.
I don't know.
People
believe the things that come out of his mouth. People are lazy. They don't want to go and do their own research. They don't want to listen to what other people tell them because they think they're right.
It's like the Fauci deal. People go, oh, well, they're making all the excuses. So you go back.
Yeah, when we posted that photo earlier with his mask off, well, he's eating.
Yeah, well, let's go back in time. We
separate him.
Yes, let's go back in time. He was doing this before. This isn't the first time.
And as a leader, really, you should practice what you preach a little bit.
Right.
A little bit. That's cool that you were at the game, you threw the pitch. Sit there for the first inning, then leave. That's not fair.
Exactly. Why do you get to watch the game?
Right.
Why do you get to watch the
without
game?
A mask.
Yeah. Okay. Throw out the first pitch and go home and watch it on TV like everybody else.
Or sit, like I said, sit and watch an inning. But then leave. How long was he there for? The entire game?
Probably. Again, the thumbing.
Part of the ruling elite, Roy.
What?
He's part of the ruling elite, Roy.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. People are just when Fauci, and we posted it earlier. He's at the congressional hearings. After the hearings, he's taking the mask off. With the crowd of people, and standing up there with the most arrogant look you've ever seen. Like, I'm the king of this.
You have that look all the time. See, it's right there. What a jerk.
All right, guys. Here we go.
Smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not...
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 KMET. as our producer's trying to make the music intro foolproof on that because he didn't like the way I was doing it before. But that even works better because it takes another equation. Anything you can make simpler and easier to do is actually much nicer, and that is anytime you put a
Go
step,
figure.
anytime you put a step in anything is a potential something for going wrong. So the less steps is better. So that was a pretty good deal. We add that in. We don't have to work the deal. That's a little inside baseball on that. But we're coming to you.
Yeah, let's explain that one.
Yes,
I don't even know.
on a Fast
Fast
Friday
Friday.
of that going on, and a fast and furious it is of doing that. We spent a lot of time talking about the Fauci deal. Coming up, and hair gel and all that stuff, and the baseball players kneeling, and just the arrogance and stuff, and all the crazy stuff that we're doing in that 545 of that on of that, but of that. But no, the world's just going freaking crazy. I mean,
It is.
and we're
I
allowing.
am too. I'm losing my mind, man.
We are allowing our ruling
But like I
elites
said the
to
other
do
day,
this.
how do you change it? Where do we go from here? How do you make that difference? Do we go up to Gavin and ask him to stop?
No, we
What do we
take him
do?
out.
How?
As like with
Oh,
the
the
recall.
recall.
Again, we have an election coming up. We're going to select the president of the United States on down to your local offices, city
That's this
councils,
November?
school board. Yes, state
I knew that.
of
I
that.
don't even know what month we're in, so forgive me for not knowing what
That
year we're
is
in.
what. That is what we're. That is where it starts. If you don't pay attention, if you buy, I watch it all the time. Few of us have done there. You've seen some of it at these public meetings. They're giving you a line of BS. They're giving you the sugar-coated, everything is Alice in Wonderland. We're going to fix it. We're doing a great job, yada, yada, yada. When you know for a fact,
Anthony writes in, we go racing.
yes. I agree. I wish we could in Southern California. But this is where it is because again, as I said yesterday, and I had a conversation with some of our elected officials. When I know what I do know, and I know you're sitting up there and you're not giving the people the facts, or somebody, your staff is not giving to you, you're sugarcoating it, or you're not telling everybody the truth, and I know that, then what do you think I'm thinking when I'm not watching you?
True.
And that's what you got to stop. You got to stop believing. You got to not take what they say at face value. If they say something, make them verify it. Make them, or ask them, is there more to this story? Or what is the whole complete story? Or what about this? And if they can't answer that, or they won't answer that, or they run and hide, or they duck it, or they try to castigate you, or come back at you with that, that's the tactic. So I know it. I've lived it. I've known it. I've seen it. I've heard in the meetings where they do it, and how they are taught to do it, and it's pure evil. And the ones that practice it know what they're doing. They're very good at it. They perfected it. These little devices are helping them perfect it at a rate that you wouldn't believe.
He got a new one. It's actually not broken. I'm very proud of him. Since you're taking a breath of air really quick, I want to shout out Anthony's comment. He said the Orange Show Speedway, 8/1/2020.
Yes, they're next Saturday, not this
I got
Saturday.
it in.
Next Saturday, Orange Show Speedway is going to hopefully run a race on that. Again, no fans in the stands, but they're going to open up the Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino
Well, that's
on
nice.
August 1st. So that'll be the second Speedway. We had Speedway at Paris Raceway at the Speedway bike races. Second one that's getting off the ground, hopefully on August 1st, will be Orange Show Speedway over in San Bernardino, which I think is one. It might be the one, if it's not the oldest, one of the oldest I think it's the oldest operating speedway we have operating in California, was built in 1946, right after on the WPA project after World War II.
Yeah. Little factoids in history for all of you watching.
Yes, of all that. But that's what it is. You buy that. You buy into the crapiola that they're pushing you. And it is. And I hope, as you've probably seen it the last couple of years since you've been on the radio and you've went to a few of the public meetings and stuff like that, and I'm seeing your perspective and your outlook learn on that and change a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you see more of what some of us have been saying about this stuff and why we go up there and question what's going on? We just don't take it at face value. And the big key is if they come after you or try to discredit you or don't want to ignore you or don't want to answer your questions, that's a big red flag that something's going on. Because if you're honest about it, if what you're saying is the truth and you're confident
but
about
I think that sometimes people like to not sugarcoat, but they don't want to scare residents. Like when the planes first came in, remember when we were covering that and they were like super quiet and down low about why they were bringing the planes to the airport.
Well, yeah, they
station?
switched it from Ontario to
Right.
March, and why?
But what I'm saying is, I don't think that they explained it fully because they didn't want to freak people out. But then they started freaking everybody out by all these numbers, and people are going to be dying left and
because
right.
it should have been. That was the first red flag. That's why when that plane got diverted, I was on there. I had a sinking feeling about this whole thing because Ontario International Airport was one of the two airports on the West Coast that was trained and had the equipment to deal with something like this.
Right.
And they're getting everything ready, and all of a sudden the plane's going to March, and everybody says, well, March has a hospital. You know what, people? That thing been torn down for 20 years ago, and they crushed all the concrete, and it's in the road base on the new roads you've been driving on. That's where the March Hospital is.
Calm down before you hurt yourself.
And that's why people run this rhetoric or stuff, and they said, oh, we're taking March. They were suing. The whistleblower was, I don't know, March was ill-equipped to deal with this stuff and everything else, and now we know where we're at. I was that day after it landed, and I came in here, and you can go back and look on this show, I said, something is wrong with this whole deal. Why did they move that plane to March? And look what it is. Because that's what I'm saying. When they start giving you stuff when they start doing stuff that doesn't make any sense, that's big red flags. You can see that. It's how you can look into the future. Past history. Jerry Pierce, radio detective, longtime radio talk show host, passed away about a year ago. He used to have me on his show and a few of us others from around and stuff. Yes.
Oh.
We used to have a round table, like 3 or 4 of us, and we used to discuss this issue. This is where I learned this from him. And when he was a deputy sheriff and stuff and investigating and stuff, and then he was a private investigator radio talk show, but he used to say this all the time. Past history is best indication of future behavior. So if you see lying snakes, or you see them doing this, or you see whatever they were, and you see this picture coming on, whenever they don't want to answer the questions, or what they're saying doesn't make any sense, or fits whatever they're doing, you know what? 98.7% of the time, something is up.
Right.
And that's what you look for. They may be your best friends. You may have known them for 27,000 years. They may like you. You may go to the ball game or go to the restaurant or converse with them at whatever. But you know what? When they're giving you a line of BS, then you need to call them out on it. Or you're going to wind up in the situation like you are now and going downhill fast.
You done? I'd like to go back to my Snell coverage.
Yes, snails
I get-
on your face would be much more pleasant
It's not
than what we're
saying
living
that.
right now.
People anyways, people are putting freaking snails on their face. I mean, I think we pretty much already lost it. I don't think there's any coming back
Oh,
from, I don't know. When do you think the world will?
I hope
What's
you're
your
wrong
prediction?
about that.
We will. We'll come
I
back. We always
suspect
do.
you're right about that.
We'll come back. We always do. But I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I hate to say it, but I think you'd agree with me on that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've looked
like we're at war with ourselves right now.
Yes.
What if that's what they wanted? Let's go tinfoil hat right now, baby bro.
Oh, there we go.
What if they wanted us to all go to war with ourselves, and we're doing exactly that? We're taking ourselves out. Did you hear today? I sent in the link that Outback Steakhouse in Moreno Valley shut down.
Well, of course. How are you going to survive in this environment? How is it?
That's like the first big restaurant that's closed down in our city.
How can restaurants, businesses survive on that? They probably would have been okay if they would have left them alone after the first shutdown, and what was it, 2 months, and they started letting them back, and then they shut them down again. What's the point? That you're going to see a lot more of that. What did they say? The 30 to 40% they estimate restaurants, eating facilities, bars, whatever, are not going to reopen, are out. I mean, this is where we're going with this stuff.
Right.
I mean, we're doing it to ourselves. And yes, we're going at this at a fast pace, and that's what concerns me is with this technological world and everything going on this stuff. We're going at such a fast pace on this stuff that it's alarming to me to see how quickly things are changing. I mean, look at, you had people protesting not wearing the mask that's getting opened up. Now it seems like practically everybody's just like, that now everybody's saying masks are this and you got to do that and you're going to kill you. Then everybody, practically a lot of people that were not standing up or conforming to this stuff.
Right.
And it's getting concerning to see how quickly they're able to shape public opinion on this stuff. And
I agree with you 100%.
Thank you.
I mean, I guess I kind of have to.
Well, no, you don't have to. You can disagree.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think people know where to start to make that change. Do we just start breaking the rules and say, screw you, we're going out, we're doing our thing?
I mean,
But how many people are willing to do that? I mean, I hear a lot of people want to do that, but everyone's so scared to go and do that because you go out even without a mask on and it's like you're the devil.
Exactly. And not that I'm advocating anarchy, but if it comes to that point, Katie, bar the door because that doesn't look pretty. Oh, we got a very special guest coming on. He's got him and a few others have organized a rally out in Beaumont, California in City Hall on that, and to support our police and do that. And not that I hope he doesn't do it on this show because we might be in trouble, but he down when we were at the county building on that, he BS the Board of Supervisors, and I loved it. Glenn Stoll from Beaumont, California, longtime businessman, political activist, and all-around good guy. Welcome to Newswire Daily with Stephanie and Roy.
Hello, Roy. Good to be with you.
After that big introduction, that's all you got to say?
Yeah.
Tell us about your deal coming up at Beaumont tomorrow supporting the police.
Okay. Last week, a young man put on a rally, and about 40 people showed up. And we decided a couple groups in the area, the Banning Beaumont Cherry Valley Tea Party, the Women's Federated, and the Redlands Tea Party, that we ought to have some rallies to support our police. Because what we're witnessing, I heard your show earlier talking, or maybe it was Lou Desmond, about why is this going on? Is it for the criminals? And I really think what this is, it's all about the 2020 election. The progressive liberals that control our cities and some of our state governments are promoting all the violence and the chaos, and they're hoping that everybody points their finger at Donald Trump and blames him for it. And I think that's what it's all about. But real people are being injured, they're being hurt, property's being damaged, and it's all for the purpose of a political agenda. And I think the American people need to stand up and get a little bit of courage. Your lady friend there mentioned people just have fear, and that's true. Fear is really permeating our society, and it's really a shame that grown men and women, a lot of them are afraid for their business. and a lot of them are afraid for their own physical well-being to stand up and show. But most of these people are cowards. They'll run in packs and try to attack an individual. And it's really a shame what's going on. I can't hardly believe this. But we've had rallies in Beaumont before. 2016, we did rallies on the freeway for Donald Trump. And, we had the full support of the Beaumont police, the highway patrol, and law people. Even though the association endorsed the opposition, Hillary Clinton, the police backed Donald Trump in 2016. I'm talking about the rank and file. This year, the pressure was so great against the National Police Association, they endorsed Donald Trump. And I think a lot of these associations, like the Teachers Association and all these organizations, they have left-wing liberals that get in charge of them, and they don't represent the rank and file anymore. They're all to the left.
I want to ask you a question that, and I think the police and that are even highway patrol, they're going to need even more support as Newsom is, releasing 8,000 prisoners because of using the coronavirus as excuse. But even more important, if you don't think it affects your area, 500 of them are coming to Riverside County. And the probation department says...
How many?
500.
Why?
And the probation department was at the Board of Supervisors a week ago saying, we can't handle this. Our normal is we get about 100 a month. You're going to dump 500 of them right onto us, and we don't have the personnel to supervise them. So there's going to be 500 people on top of the 100 they usually get that are going to be running around probably unsupervised because there's nobody there. There's no personnel in the probation department to watch them. And you think it's going on all across the state because the other 7,500 to do that. Who's our last defense on this is our police departments, and we're trying to get rid of them.
Yes, and that's going to create more chaos, more crime, and more fear amongst the population. So we're in trouble with this governor. They are pushing to recall him. It's nearly impossible because they'll falsify the records, they'll disqualify signatures, they'll do everything in their power to keep him in office. And we need a major uprising in this country. I can't believe the churches have not opened up and said we're not going to have church services. We're going to have protests just for those that have the courage and the backbone to come out to the church to protest. If you're old and sick, stay home. If you got the courage and determination, whether you're old or young, come on out and protest. And Antifa and these other organizations are protesting. Christians can protest also. Get in there, sing, praise the Lord, and protest. It'll be just like a church service, but we'll call it a protest meeting. And I'm calling on some local pastors right now to backbone up and do it, because I call it the cocks crowing. That's men that are fear. They're afraid of death. They're afraid of being hurt. They're afraid of their business being lost. They're just like Peter, a disciple of Jesus Christ. He turned and ran and began to crow. And that's what we're hearing right now, a bunch of people crowing, and it's cowardice.
Yeah, and we need to say, and we talked about that earlier in the show. I talked about it on the first part of this. Men need to start standing up in this deal, and defending, our right to live as a free people. We should not be letting them steamroller us, as they are doing now, all across the board. Just like this latest example of that. They're turning the cops loose. They're burning down our cities. They're turning criminals loose. They're burning down our cities. All the madness that's going on. Then telling us that we can't do this and we can't run our businesses and our kids can't go to school and everything else. That's
going to permanently damage our children.
Yes.
For a lifetime.
You can't get that back.
Yeah. So, if just 1 or 2% of the men start discovering their power, what they do have, begin to speak up, become a leader, get out there and start pushing. Most people are just too damn timid. We need a few men that fear God, The worst thing that can happen to you is you're going to die, and you're going to do that someday anyway.
That's a
Get out
fact.
and fight. Get out and fight for your country. We lost 200,000 young men, and a lot of them wounded in World War II. They got out there and they fought. 200,000 of them fought to the death because they loved their family, they loved their country, and they loved their freedom. And of course, they loved their God Almighty that give them the courage. And we're at a point now, a very dangerous point in our history in the United States. These people have been working for decades, 30, 40 years. I remember back in the 70s, we used to write letters about our police. Keep our police independent, keep them local, and keep them independent from the federal government. We want them to be independent entities, sheriff and our local police, and not to be unified into a national police force, which is what the Democrats will do. They'll unify them. They'll try to form a national police and have federal control if the Democrats, progressive leftist Democrats is what I call them, that have taken over the leadership. If they take over the White House and the U.S. Senate, first thing they're going to do is get rid of the filibuster in the U.S. Senate. So it'll be just a majority rule. They'll legalize 30 or 40 million illegal aliens instead of making them go through a long process and working something out through Congress. They'll do it overnight and have a short pathway to citizenship, and they'll flip all these states, and they'll be blue, and we'll lose our Constitution. That's their plan.
There you go. And yeah, we're running short of time on this, but yeah, I agree with you. I'd rather die fighting for what is right than enjoy all the riches of the world being a slave of that, or doing what's.
Let me give you that time one more time, Roy.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow at 11 a.m. at
You
City
got it.
Hall, 550 North or East 6th Street, right in front of City Hall. A lot of nice shade trees. Bring your flag, your American flags, and your signs to support candidates that support law and order.
I couldn't agree more with you on that. Thanks for being on, Glenn, and I hope you have a
Thanks,
successful
Glenn.
event out there in Beaumont, out there rallying for what's right in America and everybody else. Thanks.
Okay, and God bless you guys.
You got it.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I mean, it starts with something like that. Yes, well, what to do? I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to start
Exactly.
being informed, paying more attention to what this stuff is like, and we're going across the board, and you run at what we're doing, all of this stuff, and it's just, I mean, I don't know. I hope you talk about woke. This is what you should be woke about. You should be woke about what's going on all across the board and what they're doing to you. If you want to live, unless you want to live in a world where somebody else is going to dictate 100% of your life, because that's where it's going.
You know where I want to go? South Dakota. I haven't forgot about that place.
Well, like I said,
That was awesome. I love that she stood with her residents and put trust into them. I think there was just so much respect in that state right there.
that's what freedom and liberty is all
And
about.
It's a beautiful thing. I really wish that a lot of other states, not just us, would mimic that. I think a lot more people would be happier, and our world would be so much better.
So I know you said just quick. We got a couple minutes. I know you said you've said, well, we shouldn't have a woman president. What would you think of Kristi Noem being the president of the United States?
Damn. But you know what? It's not that I don't think a woman can do it, because I know a woman can, and she would do it
Right.
than probably most men have ever. But I believe in the tradition of the man running the country and the woman staying by his side. That is what I like. I like that he is the leader and she is right there with him. Because I think the first lady always has her own thing that she does. She always, helps with charities and does all that stuff. I think that's a good role for a...
And that is traditional of that. But like I put the example, the Iron Lady, Margaret Thatcher, who's Prime
Right.
Minister of England. And Kristi Noem. I would vote, well, at this point, I would vote every day of the week and 9 times on Sunday for somebody like Kristi Noem to be president of the United States. Because
Over Trump?
Well, yeah, I would probably actually at
Huh?
this point,
Huh?
I would probably say yes, because I mean,
Wow.
I think Christie actually, where Trump has backed up on some of this stuff, Christie Nome has not,
Thanks, Joseph.
and
I feel like you don't really mean that, but it's cool. No, I believe in tradition, and I just think it's a beautiful thing.
it is. But
I
I
think
mean,
every woman should, but I don't know, because to me, I feel like I don't know, it would just look weird. But I hate change too, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's where I'm coming from with it.
that is no. I think and it doesn't matter. You know, there.
And it really doesn't, because I can tell you anything. Any
Yes.
man that is president, you know that woman's telling him at night in the bedroom. You're gonna be
Yes,
doing this, that, and the
you're
other
running
tomorrow.
things
So
every
it really
anyway.
doesn't
Yes,
matter.
you run everything anyway. So we're
I
just
think it's a
we're
beautiful-
just like the figureheads that.
Exactly. But I feel safer with a man leading the way than a female. I don't know. Does that make any sense? God, I'm gonna get so much hate mail again. Stop asking that question.
I tried to let you take you out of the hole and you wouldn't do it.
I can't.
We'll be back on Monday on that as we do it all over again. Have a great weekend, and until
Go
Monday,
do nothing.
yeah, we're gone.